Welcome to Lesson 12, where we are looking only today at taking one mixed number away from another mixed number. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to do this. The first one that I'm going to show you is called the empty number line method. And that one is something common in Western Europe and England, and also too in Australia. Where you're looking at what is the difference between these two numbers. How far do you have to travel? How much space do you have to go to get from 2 1/3 up to 3 1/4? The other way I'm going to do it over here, that's why I crossed out this one, so it wouldn't be all distracting, is parent style. So let's start with the empty number line method. So here it is. Here's our number line, and you know that off over in this direction there's a 0 back there somewhere. We're going to start with our little number, 2 1/3. And we want to work our way all the way up to 3 1/4. So we want to find how far do we have to travel to get from one to the other. So we know that between 2 and 3, you're going to have some space, and then you're going to get to a 3, and then you're going to have some space, and you're going to get to 3 1/4. So let's start back here again, 2 1/3. I know that if I go 2 1/3 and I add a third to that, I'm at 2 2/3. And I know if I go to 3/3, that's going to be the same as a 3, right? So we just added, here's 1/3, 2/3. We just went up 2/3. So if you're going upward, right, you're adding 2/3 to get there. And now we're going from 3 to a 4th. Well, that's pretty easy. We know we're going to add a 4th to get there. So now we have to make these the same size. This is thirds. This one we were going in 4ths to get there. So we know that we're going to have a common denominator. So I know 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12, I know 4 times 2 is 8. I can't do anything to 3 to get to an 8. But I know 4 times 3 will get me there to 12. So let's do them both as 12ths. And we can combine them. That'll tell us how far this distance is between these two numbers. So I see 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. I have to treat both the numerator up top and the denominator the same. I'm multiplying them both by 4 this time. Now let's look at the other one. In order to turn 4 to a 12, I'm going to multiply by 3. I have to do the same to the numerator up top. 1 times 3, and that's going to get us 8 plus 3, which is 11. 11 twelfths is the distance. That's how far we had to travel to get from this point to this point. Now let's do it the other way and see if we get the same answer, shall we? So this time we're going to start with what we've got, 3 1/4. We're finding the difference between that and 2 1/3. Let's start with the common denominator. We keep the whole number. So far, you'll see. Keep the whole number. And then, like we decided with our multiplier situation, that 12 was the best way to go. You could go 24, because you know 4 times 6 gets you 24. 3 times 8 is going to get you 24. But that's really kind of big. You don't have to go that big. Then you'd have more simplifying to do also. So 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. Sometimes being musical helps. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 times 4 is 4. Can you actually take 4 away from 3? No. If you have 3 cookies, can you give away 4? Not really. So let's take this box of cookies. It's 12 cookies in a box. So we'll take a box of cookies. Now we only have 2 boxes. But we've got 12 loose cookies now to add to our 3 cookies. So we've got 15 of them now. It takes 12 to have a box. This one down here we can keep exactly the same because all we're doing is figuring out what if we give 4 away. I know 2 minus 2 is nothing, so those go away. 15 minus 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. and we just drop that 1 on down because it's in the tens place. There's no tens we're taking away here. 11 twelfths. 11 twelfths. 11 twelfths. We got the same thing. So there's 2 different ways to do it. You choose which way you would like to do in the future. All right, let's do our empty number line again with this one. And we start with our smaller of the 2. Here we are. We're at 4 1/3. And we need to make it all the way up to 5 2/7. So let's think about this. If we're at 1/3, we add another third, we're now at 4 2/3. If we add another third, we're at 4 3/3. Hey, isn't that also 5? 4 3/3. 3/3 is like 1, right? So we added over here 1/3, 2/3. So let's say we added 2/3. Now we're sitting at 5. What do we add to 5 to get to 2/7? Well, we add 2/7, right? So now we have to combine these fractions. They're different sizes though, and I know that 7 times 2 is 14, and there's nothing I can do to 3 to turn it into a 14. Because 3 times 5 is 15, which is only 1 more than 14. That won't work. So that was 2 times 7. Let's try 3 times 7. Oh, and we have our 3 here. So we know that's a common multiple between them. We can just say we're going with 21. We're combining these 2 to find the whole total distance from here to here, right? And we're going to go 3 times 7 is 21, 2 times 7 is 14, 7 times 3 is 21, 2 times 3 is 6. Now when you add those together, 14 plus 6 is going to get you 20. What size are your pieces? 21 gives you a whole. Now let's do it parent style. Different color, just because. Let's go pink. This time, let's put the big one up top. Just like when you do other subtraction. 5 2/7 minus 4 1/3 equals, we're carrying, making equivalent fractions. Keep your whole numbers, because we're not doing those yet. Now, remember with our multiples, we decided 21 was the way to go. 21, because 2 times 7 got us 14, and there's nothing you can do to 3 to get there. 7 times 3 is 21, 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 7 is 21, 1 times 7 is 7. Being that you can't take 7 away from 6, we're going to have to take one of these wholes. So we're taking one of them. So now we have 4 of them. 21 gets you a whole. That's our whole is 21. And we had 6 pieces already. So 21 pieces plus 6 pieces is 27 pieces. Your denominator, your size, stays the same. This one just stays because it's already at 21. And we're not taking anything away from 7. 7 is what we're taking away. 4 minus 4 is nothing. 27 take away 7 leaves you 20. What's our size? 20/1. So 20 21st, 20 21st. Same thing. Now let's take a look at a word problem. We are going to be doing, in this case, number 4. So a carpenter has 10.5 feet of wooden plank. So let's make that wooden plank, shall we? Here is that wooden plank. And all together, it is 10.5 feet. And what are we taking away from that? We're cutting off 4.5 feet of it. So we're taking off 4.5 feet of it, and we're taking off 3 2/3 feet of it. So if we combine these, then we'll know how much we're taking away. So let's combine them. Here's one cut. Here's the other cut. 3 2/3. And so we've known, because 3 and 4, we can just use 12. So I'm keeping my whole number. And I'm keeping my whole number, and I'm turning it into twelfths. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 times 3 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. And we know that 4 plus 3, 7. 8 plus 3, 11. So, all total, he's using 4 1/4 to replace a slat on a deck, and 3 2/3 to repair a banister. So altogether, this is how much wood he's using. He uses the rest of it to fix a stair, so how many feet get used for the stair then? So you want to find the difference between 7 and 11 twelfths and 10 1/2. So what do we add to 11 twelfths to get to 12 twelfths? Because 12 twelfths would get us to 8, right? So what are we adding to get there? Aren't we only adding just 1/12 to get to 8? So that's 1/12. Now, to get to 10, 8 plus 2 gets us to 10. So we're going 2 more. Now how do we get from 10 to 10 1/2? We add a half. So we know that 2 1/2, right there, right? 2 1/2. And what are we adding to that? We're adding a 12th. So to make them the same size pieces, here's our whole number. This has to become 12. 2 times what gets you 12? 6. So 1 times 6 is 6. 6 is half of 12. Those are equal to each other. 1/2 and 6 twelfths mean the same thing. And here's your 1/12. So now 2 plus 0 is 2. 6 plus 1 is 7. What size pieces? Twelfths. And that's your answer. So 2 and 7 twelfths. And what are they? They're feet. Are used for the stair. And that's not like I stare at you, that's like the stair on the staircase, right? Okay, so here's your homework. Showing it at the end. Hopefully you watched the video because these are not easy. So what I would like for you to do is pick one and then solve either with empty number line or parent style. Up to you. So pick one, and I'll see ya tomorrow.